Welcome to Little Fish. This video is part of the Money Story series, and in this video we're going to look at a question that every business owner, every owner of a small business is going to ask, and that is, how much spare money is there in my business to either reinvest or to draw out of my business as cash? And we're going to look at this question in the light of village and indigenous business owners. The first thing to emphasize for every business owner is that profit is not money in the owner's hands. There's a lot of layers to this, and we would take it step by step to explain this. But that message is the key message above all. Firstly, we need to ask a series of questions, and we've got 5 questions that we ask or answer. We ask them and then give clear answers. Firstly, are our 2 roads in balance? Be in control. It's your business. Your business has got to fit into your family life and vice versa. And if you're in a village or live on an indigenous community, you want to make sure that your business fits in with your way of life, your culture. And people have got to be inspired and really love that business and want to take part in it. The second question we look at is there enough cash in the bank? Because however much accounting you do, in the end, it all boils down to the fact, can you pay your bills on time? And we should never forget that. The third question is, how much profit did we make? Now, profit can go into a number of things, might go into more equipment for the business, but in the end, it must make enough cash to pay your bills. Fourthly, we need to look at how strong or weak the business is. Overall, is the business strong or weak? Does it make enough profit? Have we got enough cash? Are we looking after a business that is in balance with our own life? And finally, that leads us to the question, how much for the owners? So we've got a sort of fence we've got to jump over till we get to that question. Now, when we look at traditional reporting, financial reports, we can see that it is pretty difficult to pick out what you need. And that's where we really support people. So, of course, we can support people with these statements and show them where to look. But we'd like to really get people concentrated and really help them. So what we do is use pictures and graphics to make those key ideas really live in people's minds. So the first thing is we've got our 2 roads. The broad bush road in Australia, or the path perhaps in a village in the southwest Pacific, is the road of the owners. And the bitumen road, or the main road, is the road of the business. The business must make money. It has to work in with the mainstream, with the town, and yet if the 2 roads don't come together and the owners don't like the business, or the business makes the owners unhappy or conflicts with their values, well, it's not going to go very far. So we actually introduce the 2 roads at the very beginning of what we do. So we always go back and have a look at that. Is everyone happy? Is it working, the business? The next thing we have to answer is there enough cash in the bank? And that's something we must keep our eyes on all the time. It's very easy to get pulled away into all sorts of little different things in the business, or even be too frightened to go and have a look and see, well, have I got enough money in the bank? And see this little target symbol here. We must have a target to tell us how much money we should have. Even if we don't have a target, when we check if we got enough money, there is an implicit figure or number in our mind. So let's make that explicit, make it clear, so that we can pass it on to everyone else, all the owners of the business or people in the village. So everyone's clear. If it goes below a certain point, it's dangerous. Here we move on to profit and loss. You'll notice the symbols here. The video camera, because profit and loss is over a period of time, so it might be from July through to September for a quarter report, 3-month report, July, August and September. And it's also about money flow. So this relates to our model of the river and the dam. So profit is money or resources flowing into the business, and we actually break it down as much as we need. So we can just simply look at the sales, expenses and profit, and we notice the profit is quite small. So we've got a lot of tools in there to help people see their sales, their targets, the breakdown of costs, even a more advanced level, ratios of wages to your sales and so on. And the profit is usually very small. So we can talk about this in very, very straightforward terms. And we'd refer you to our video on the first basic overview for village businesses, where we do this. Now you'll notice that the dollar note has some brown in it, and that'll become clear when we look at the next step, which is actually the balance sheet. So we have to get across to people the mysteries of the balance sheet, and that is actually very easy to make completely understandable to people in a really pragmatic way. So here we have a hand with some blue money, which represents liquid cash, and the brown money is rather like brown rocks that sit in your tank and you can't spend them. Things when you buy a big building or a vehicle or something, you can't use that to pay the bills. And that's why we show a dam, and the dam here is the height or lack of height of the dam, and is there any overspill for the owners. Here's about the simplest representation of a balance sheet you could get. The blue represents all the things you own, in other words, your assets, and they can be cash, and they can be big things like a building in a village, or a vehicle, or whatever. The brown represents materials and things that you can't convert into cash easily, and the cash is blue. The business actually owes money, and always the balance sheet is a very clever idea. What it says is, let's look at what we owe to others, let's look at what we own, and then whatever's left over, the business is like a virtual person, an imaginary person. Whatever's left over is owed to the owners. Now, just because it's owed to the owners, all of this here, this might nearly all be brown, so that what's owed to the owners isn't automatically cash. So that's a very important thing. We have to go back and check the cash at the bank. And that can be done very simply as long as we've got a clear target and we've stepped people through cash at bank, profit and loss, balance sheet. And then finally, we answer the question, that $64,000 question that every business person is going to ask. How much can I reinvest, or how much can I take out as cash? Well, here we are. When we look at what is owed to the owners, when we break it down, like I said, a lot of this stuff might be still big things and buildings. The business is strong, but we've got to look inside that strength and see what's it made up of. Well, we've also got some money in the bank, but we call this locked-in money, and very roughly you could call that in accounting terms working capital. Money that's locked into the business that you can't take out and spend. Say in a community store, that might be money you keep in the store to change checks. Well, if you paid out that money to the owners and those people came in to get their checks, they wouldn't be very pleased, and they'd go and shop somewhere else. So you've got to keep the money in the business. Then above that, you'll see this line here. This line represents the safety line of the business. And actually, we need to keep some safety money. And it's a really good exercise for business owners themselves to set that level of safety and sort of extra level of safety money in case of any issues, especially in a cross-cultural business. It's a lot. You need a greater level of safety because of the cross-cultural issues that can arise. And then finally, we jump over the fence. We jump over the fence where the money that can be released, the cash money or money that's going to be reinvested, can go to the owners. The aim of this whole story is to get a clear picture of how we go down the road, how we go over the fence to answer that question, so that people can see step by step by step by step, with clear graphics to explain, with clear numbers, clear targets, how this magical figure came here. It's not difficult. We just need to simplify things, concentrate on the key things, and give people clear answers so they can feel in control of their own business. And why is that important? Because we want the business to fit in with the way of life, and we want people to feel it's their business, they're passionate about it, they're going to jump over the difficult times, which they certainly will be. So we hope that this Right Road video, as we call it, will really help. And let's just leave you with that final message. Profit is not money in the owner's hands. So thanks a lot for listening.